Welcome back. You're looking at Unrendered. I am Tony Regisford, and I'm sitting with three distinguished gentlemen, and I'll introduce them. Dr. Stoddard is to my far right. I have Thornley Myers, the CEO of Vinlec. He's next to Dr. Stoddard, and no stranger to you, Dr. Gerald Thompson is on my immediate right. Topic we're going to be discussing this week has to do with the CARICOM observation of Energy Week. And I'm going to mainly focus on renewable energy and policies surrounding that. So let's get started, gentlemen. Dr. Thompson, you are no stranger to this forum, and always nice to see you here.
It's always my pleasure.
What does Energy Week mean to the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines?
Well, it's certainly a regional approach, looking at issues related to energy, but from a national point of view, St. Vincent and Grenadines, it allows us to focus and educate the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines on some critical issues related to energy. Now, when at CARICOM we were looking to develop Energy Week, I always had my concern about the focus on just 1 week. But I believe the general consensus is that this is going to spark off the whole process of not just looking at energy and the issues of energy, renewable energy, just from the standpoint of 1 week, but look at it as a sort of continuum, as a way of life, and in terms of the way forward for developing nations like St. Vincent and Grenadines. And this week allows us to focus on some critical issues and to set the agenda so that over the next number of years, people here in St. Vincent and Grenadines and throughout the Caribbean, but people in St. Vincent can start to embrace a lot of these issues and the change in behaviors and what other projects and so are being developed for them to understand those particular things that are coming down the pipe.
Right. So, Dr. Stoddard, you're here, your job basically, you sit in the CARICOM Secretariat as an energy consultant, I think, for want of a better word. You are like a driving force or central figure to this whole thing. Energy Week has been observed across the Caribbean. We're observing it here in St. Vincent from the 13th. Dr. Thompson sort of outlined some of the objectives, but can you elaborate on that, some of the broader objectives of the week? And basically, what is CARICOM, at least where you sit? What are we doing beyond just the week to keep meeting the objectives?
Okay, thank you very much again for being here. First of all, I must make mention of the fact that energy has been one of those issues that has occupied our attention for the last couple of years. I don't have to tell you about the cost of energy products. Energy is one of the major components of manufacturing and services activities. And the price of these activities, the price of these products, is determined by the cost of energy. And because member states have had serious difficulties in addressing some of these costs, we realize that we have to take some action. And CARICOM being a regional entity that represents all 15 member states, it must take the lead in trying to promote and sensitize people to some very critical issues with respect to energy. We had a quoted about 7 months ago, and the ministers of energy supported the idea that we must bring to the forefront the issues of energy in a manner that we would have an involvement of the community. And so we decided to do the Energy Week between the 6th, starting from the 6th of November. St. Vincent is one of 2 countries that decided to do their week 1 week later. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
There's the background to the whole issue of energy. I would like to, Tony, to give a short background to the whole issue that brought us to where we are today. About 1998, thereabout, when when we had some sharp rises, some spikes in the energy situation, we were looking for answers. So we had fossil fuel-based energy, petroleum products, we had coal, natural gas. Those were the dominant form of energy. And they had environmental impact on our environment. And so we decided we cannot continue to pay these enormous costs of energy, but we must find a way of addressing it. So that project was developed called the CREDEP, Caribbean Renewable Energy Development Program. Now that program was based on the hypothesis that if we can reduce 4 critical barriers: energy awareness and information, capacity building, financing, and policy. If we can reduce and address those issues, we would be in a position as a region to capitalize on our indigenous resources. And so that project lasted for 4 years, starting in 2004 and ending 2008. And it set the tone and the momentum for the sort of discussion that is going on today in the area of energy. And we are here to discuss that and more.
It seems to me that listening to those 4 areas that you're talking about, what springs out to me, basically 2 aspects. One, the conservation of energy, period, regardless of what the source of energy is. Happens that it's fossil fuels now that largely dominates what generates our energy. But the conservation of such, because I'm sure Dr. Thompson would agree, and Tony would agree with me, that conservation is a good practice anyway, regardless of what your source is. So there's that, and then there's the alternative source to what we're accustomed to, fossil fuels. What is being done at the CARICOM level to accelerate the use of renewable energy sources? What's being done at that level?
Okay, I must correct a few little things there that so that we can be on the right track in our discussion. First of all, what we need to do as a region, and what we've been focusing as a region, is on sustainable energy. Sustainable energy has to do with energy efficiency, with respect to the various forms of energy: wind, solar, biomass, biogas, and you name it.
Yes.
And then the other aspect of sustainable energy is energy efficiency.
Okay.
So once we understand that, we can move the argument to a situation where we now start to look at programs, sustainable programs that would drive these areas. Programs that would enhance our effort in trying to get sustainable energy on the front burner, and trying to get some activities that will promote sustainability in our region. The other thing too is energy efficiency, and under energy efficiency comes conservation.
So conservation,
yes, it's an issue that we have to be concerned with.
It's a big issue.
And as we get into the discussion, I'm sure that I'll be able to say a few more things on that.
Tony, tell me, from where you sit, you manage the power company here, and I would say as a single entity, you're probably the largest consumer of energy as a single entity. And of course, you have customers that are tapped onto you. So in an indirect sense, the consumers are the ones who actually use this energy. From where you sit, and I've heard VINLEC articulate policies about looking at alternative sources to fossil fuels, okay? But from a point of view of conservation, as Dr. Stoddard brought it up, what is VINLEC as a company doing to promote this whole concept of conservation?
Yes, Tony. I should mention that we at VINLEC support the initiative taken by CARICOM. And we also support the effort of the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines in many areas. I think we recognize that we need energy. Energy is an important driver of the economy. It affects every single aspect of the economy. It affects every single individual, every single household, because energy is the byproducts of energy are utilized by all our citizens. So we are in the business, although we produce electricity for the entire nation, We are also in the business of promoting energy efficiency and conservation. Part of our energy conservation drive has always been some of the messages we put on television and on radio. And we've always been saying to customers, while we are in the business of selling electricity, we want you to use electricity wisely. So therefore, use only what you have to use. That's the area of conservation.
Yes.
But also the area of energy efficiency. Ensure that you buy the most energy efficient appliances. And we have also been promoting that message. So it's not only from a point of view of use only what you have to use in terms of conservation, but also energy efficiency. And that's a big part of this business, because we all have to use energy. You know, we can conserve, but also we have to use it. Right. And part of the energy efficiency drive has to be buying the correct appliances, make sure that we use them in an effective manner. And that, as a utility, we have been doing and we will continue to do in support of the whole idea of rationalizing the nation's use of energy. Because for every kilowatt hour that is wasted, the country loses. And there is a team saving energy is saving money.
Dr. Thompson, from a government standpoint, I mean, certainly you come in at the policy end. What policies do you have in place, if any, that support the conservation and the efficient use of energy?
Well, I'm really glad you said that. I brought with me, and let me hold it up for the camera. This is our sustainable energy policy for St. Vincent and Grenadines. But it also incorporates what we call our energy strategy and action plan. And I'm very proud to say that St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2008 was the first OECS Caribbean island to adopt a energy policy and energy strategy and action plan.
Okay, so let's just hold it there and go to our first break. So when we come back, I'm going to pick it up with you. Pick it up with you on this sustainable energy document for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay.
This is Unrendered, and I'm Tony Redsford, chatting with three distinguished gentlemen on the business of renewable energy.